Hello, everyone. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to work the magic of this. Okay. Sharing. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, there we go. Hi, everyone. How are you guys? I am super excited to have you guys join us. Thank you so much. My name is Justa, and this is all about cultural heritage. This is going to be a very much kind of like a participative kind of session, because it's like a good number of us joining in, and I want us to be like more interactive and talk about when it comes to what is cultural heritage. This is a question that I had in my mind, and it has recently become more prominent, of course, with Black Lives Matter happening. I'm here in New York, so like going through everything that was happening within the last probably like 2 months. I've been questioning myself on what is my cultural heritage, and who am I? What is my identity? And do I need to actually express myself, or do I need to just follow what others are doing? So that has always been one of those questions in my mind. So like, I want to just have this conversation, and what is cultural heritage, and what do you guys, what do you think cultural heritage is? What is your cultural heritage? And then I'll also share about our Tanzanian cultural heritage, coming from different perspective. It could be from diversity, culture, travel. It could be the customs, the essence of who we are, music. Like it's so much that's involved when it comes to like cultural heritage. So like, I want to take this time to be able to discuss that. And before we do that, I'm going to start out with, give me 1 second. I'll start out with like a video. And then after we do a video, then we'll do kind of like an introduction. I want like everybody to kind of like introduce themselves. And then we'll go into the discussion of what is cultural heritage. So like, I will start it off. Give me a second. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me find the video. Here we go. Okay, let's do the share. Okay, this is a video with my mom. We were in our village, and she's kind of like explaining what, a little bit the same question, cultural heritage, what is it about? And I did this probably like 4 years ago. So I'll give you a picture of how our village looks like, kind of, and my mom's perspective. So here we go. You guys can hear it.
I'm in Bukoba. Bukoba is my hometown. I'm here with,
Give me 1 second,
my lovely mother. I just wanted to share a little bit about our history, and my mother to be able to explain to us. I'll ask a couple questions and then she'll be able to answer me. Hopefully she answers me correctly. But it's my mother, so anything goes. Mama, why is it so important for you to keep coming here? Like, I know we spent like almost like 20 years in the US, but we always remember this place, Bukoba, and we always try to come back, or you always try to make us come back. Why is it important for you to come back here to Bukoba?
Traditionally, we are very traditional people, so where you come from is very important, because your ancestors are buried there, your grandparents, and we are so much into extended family. The extended family is still around. Even without the extended family, the roots, everything you were born about is here. So it's very important to come back here.
Do you think, like, I know you do know, like, it's important for us to come back, but do you think other parents think the same way as you think?
I can't speak for them, but I know most parents, they want to do that, but they don't do it. I mean, they don't take the time to do it, but they would like to do it. But they, most of the time they think their kids, it's going to be difficult for them. Maybe the food or culture is going to be too hard for them. But I would like them to do the same.
This place where we at, I know you told me, like, you've been telling me for like the longest that you want to build this beautiful house because like the views are it's a gorgeous view. What are like the plans for this place where we at?
We are planning to build a nice house, and it's going to be challenging because of the rocks, but at the end of the day, the view is going to be everything you wake up for.
What's the meaning behind like creating this place? What do you want it to be? Like, as a mother, what do you want this place to be for like all of us?
I want it to be like the place you come home to. So even if you are in America, you are in Dar es Salaam, you are in Dubai or wherever, you want to come home, and when you come home, you're still going to have the comforts, modern comforts. At the same time, you can go to the village, you can invite your extended family over. So it's like, a get together, you can all come together, like family reunions and so forth.
And there's some kihaya dances, eat some matoke.
Right.
Okay, so this is a little bit about my mom. And of course, my mom is like my backbone towards everything. She helps me out. Like this whole experience of Curious on Tanzania, she has always been there for me. So I would just wanted to share with you guys just a little part of what my family is all about, and also to share with you guys what our future looks like. And whenever you're interested in coming to visit, especially Bukoba or anywhere, I would love, like, we're looking at like 5 years, we should have it ready, or less than that.
Depends. If I get home, we can do it faster. If you guys kick in, could be done.
Okay, so we'll work on that. But this is Bukoba, this is my home village, and I hope one day that you guys will come and visit us here.
Okay, so that is a video that we shot. My mom is also joining us. Hi, Ma. Say hi. She's also joining us. This is a video that we shot probably like 4 years ago, and I actually reflected on it like last week before I like had an idea to think about, okay, let's have this discussion of what cultural heritage is all about. My mom is, she came to the United States, I think, in 1989, and it's been years of living in the United States. I have been here since I was 12. But like always remembering where we come from, she's always emphasized that home is everything, and always remembering your culture is your identity. And so like one of those things, like even like I could have been like a completely like an American person, which I am, but then I also remember my village where we come from, and I also could go back home and visit and share these various stories with people. So like I wanted to open it up, and then I'll show you guys another video later. But like I want to know who is on the call. So like whoever wants to be on video, you could turn on your video screen. I want to do like kind of like an introduction. So like if you guys want to come on and introduce yourselves, that would be amazing. So if we want to start, whoever wants to volunteer to start, it's an open conversation. We could have a discussion. I just want to kind of like, and you could talk about whatever your culture is, or whatever you think culture is or cultural heritage is. This just kind of like opened the conversation to talk, because I want it to be open and I want to know what others are thinking. So yeah, let's start with Daniel. You want to start us off?
Yes, certainly. Thank you. Well, my name is Daniel. I guess my cultural heritage is Italian, but I've never been to Italy, and I don't speak any Italian. I've visited Tanzania twice, which was my reason for being interested in today's presentation. Thank you, by the way, Justa, for that video, and it was very nice. Thank you, and Vicky, I guess Justa's mom. Thank you both for the video. When I visited Tanzania, I stayed in two different places. One was very close to your town, which was Mbezi. And then I also stayed in Moshi for a few days. I had plans to go back to Tanzania in April this year. I was going to climb Kilimanjaro, but as we all know, COVID-19 completely brought international travel to a standstill. So I don't know when I will be going, maybe next year, but I'm looking forward to it. I decided that in the meantime, in order to keep myself somewhat immersed in Eastern African culture, not specifically Tanzania, but Tanzania, also Kenya and other closely related countries, I decided to learn some Swahili. So I've been studying that since January. Yeah, I just this presentation was a good opportunity for me to get a fix, to get a a hit of of African culture today. So thank you.
Nice. What do you know in Swahili? Habari.
Ndio, ninaweza kuongea habari na kuongea vitu vyote.
Nice, nice. I love this. Yeah.
Okay.
Language is a huge part of our cultural heritage, and like actually being able to maintain languages right now is very difficult, especially within like when like English is becoming predominantly like the common language, and all the other like for Africans, all the other European languages are becoming more common. It's very hard for us to maintain our cultural languages. But for Tanzania, Swahili is a language that's predominantly spoken by all Tanzanians are required actually to speak Swahili. Swahili is our first language. It's our national language. And then we all have like tribal languages. So we speak almost like 200 different languages between 120 tribes. So there's so much that's happening in Tanzania, which is so beautiful. And we have, language is like everything, and like finding ways to preserve it and also preserve the meanings of it. Like Swahili is very, there's a lot of metaphors, and like when somebody speaks Swahili, one word could mean like 10 different things, which is the beauty of it. So like language, when it comes to language, culture, heritage, this is why also my mom, Ma, if you want to say something, this is why my mom, like she always speaks to us like in Swahili and Haya, and all like I speak also Luganda, but like she also always emphasized for us to identify ourselves by our one of our languages. Ma, you want to come next to introduce yourself?
Please unmute Vicky.
Unmute, Ma. Ma, you have to unmute yourself.
Justa, as the hostess, I think you can unmute Vicky yourself.
Okay, let me find her first. Where is she? Okay, Ma.
No, she's still muted.
Okay, she's unmuted now.
I'm going to mute myself so I don't interrupt you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Mother.
Yeah. Okay, I would like to say hi to everyone. I would like to, kukaribisha in Swahili means welcome. And I'm happy to be here with you. I just want to introduce myself for now, but otherwise I'll speak later. But for now, welcome everybody.
Thank you, Mother. Thank you for, my mom speaks very little. But thank you, Ma. Michaela, you want to come next?
Hi, everyone. Justa, thank you for doing this. I love these series. It's wonderful to stay connected with everyone. Hi, Mom. Thank you for sharing your
Hello.
story. That was a beautiful video.
Well,
Hi, everybody. My name is Michaela. Justa knows me very well. We've been working together to potentially film. Well, we will, but now we got to figure out when. But I have a TV show on PBS called Bare Feet, where I travel and dance around the world. And one of our upcoming episodes that we hope to shoot once it's safe to travel again is in Tanzania. Just and I have been working on this for years to do this. So today's talk is right on topic of cultural heritage. What I like to do is my travel series is about connecting with locals through their music and dance. And what happens is music and dance starts as the core, but it really expands into every aspect of the culture through language, in singing, through food, in celebration. So for me, I come from an Italian background. Daniel, I'm also Italian, but my parents were actually born in Italy. So Justa, I didn't realize you came here when you were 12.
yeah.
My mom came to the United States when she was 11. My dad was 19. So I grew up with the language in the home, but we grew up with a dialect. So I actually didn't grow up speaking proper Italian, and then went back to Italy to learn Italian. And what I learned is our cultural heritage that we had in the home was very different from the cultural heritage that Italians in Italy had back in the mother country. So I think that's growing up realizing being Italian American is very different from being Italian, and but beautiful, still beautiful. You know, our traditions are unique, and I think that just goes with saying there are so many pockets of cultural heritages, whether that's through immigration, relocation, but maintaining something that's part of your identity of what makes you who you are and what you're proud of, or to be proud of something. I totally agree. Language is part of that. Even being from the Northeast, right? I identify with someone who's from the New York tri-state area, the way I speak, some of the language I use when I go to other parts of the United States, it's quite apparent. When I'm talking to my family, all of a sudden that kind of New York, Connecticut accent comes out. But that's also part of that heritage. So I think it's been an amazing journey being able to connect with you, Justa, and other people around the world through dance. Justa and I, you and I have danced together, and I just love that dance and music is such a part of you and your culture. So that's me. That's me. Thank you for having me. This is wonderful.
Oh my God, thank you so much, Michaela. Michaela, when it comes to cultural heritage representing through dance, Michaela, you are an amazing representation of being able to preserving like cultures and telling, especially the new generation, what culture is through dance. And I cannot wait for one day for us to be in Tanzania, bare feet.
Oh my gosh, I'm dreaming about it every night. I'm like, oh, when we can get out there.
I like it's gonna happen. I'm praying it will happen.
It will.
It will happen, and we're gonna put it into existence for like it needs to happen like ASAP. The U.S. needs to see what our culture heritage through dance is all about. We have, like I said again, we have like almost 120 tribes, and our tribe, which is the higher people, they come from the northeast of Tanzania. When it comes to dance, the higher people, Michaela, I taught you some footwork.
I know you did. Yeah, girl. The hip movements, all of that.
Yes.
What I love too is all of your social media. Every time you post videos of you dancing or dance from your tribe, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just want to be there right now. But it's so rich and there's so much of it. I think we're gonna have to do 2 or 3 episodes in Tanzania alone.
That is so true. But like, yeah, when it comes to dance and culture, I feel like that's one of the best ways to be able to preserve culture. And I'm so thankful that you are able to look at that and go and travel the whole world barefoot. That's how, if anybody's curious to know, you could write it in so people could be able to follow you.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, so thank you so much for that. Lena, you want to come next?
Great morning, everyone. So I'm Lena. I'm I was born in Brooklyn, but I was raised in Atlantic City. That's where I am currently. Um, I'm growing up, I identified as African American, but like I didn't really know where majority of like my family roots really stemmed from, aside from my maternal grandfather. Um, his mother was from Barbados, and I've heard of like I grew up hearing about it. She actually was in Lang City. She grew up here, even though she spent summertime in Barbados. But like she would talk about this place. I never really knew what it was. And you know, at that time she was my great grandmother, so she was much older. So I didn't really get to experience like the dishes or anything like that, but just hear stories about what this place was. And then, but I was a self-taught dancer, so I was always drawn to Caribbean style music, tunes, whether soca, reggae, dance hall, even African rhythms. Like it was just a natural thing for me to dance to. And so it was so interesting that when I got to finally visit Barbados, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago with family, when I was there, like I immediately felt home. And I've traveled to many different places throughout the Caribbean prior to going there. But it was just so crazy. I mean, just from the food, like, you know, the music, everything, like I felt this connection to the point where I could see myself like living there. Like actually I'm planning on going and spending like some time there during this quarantine, hopefully by November. Um, but then going to, you know, New York, I lived there a few years ago. I have a background in wellness, so I teach personal training, nutrition, yoga, meditation, and things like that. And so when I was in New York, you know, that was kind of a hub for all of that. But then also I was able to experience dance and kind of like, you know, merge the things I was doing together. And, you know, I did some African dancing for a comedian for some time, and I got to like, you know, open up his shows with an African routine. And then last year in the fall, I got to go to Kenya, Nairobi specifically, and a friend of mine, like, you know, she just immediately put me in touch with this dance group, and then next thing I know, I'm like dancing there, and it was like I just felt at home there as well, and they made me feel like family to the point where they invited me to Mombasa to perform with them, and I had like 2 days learn this dance over a course of maybe like 3 hours of practice, and you know, so I did like my first international performance, and it was so interesting because that's not what I intended on doing when I got there, but I was so glad. And I just love, even though like I said, I don't really have a strong connection to like where all of my roots really come from. When I travel to places such as Kenya and Barbados or any other place in the Caribbean, like they make me feel like I'm a part of that community. And so yeah, like I plan on going back this fall, but of course, you know, like everyone else, their plans kind of got, you know, interrupted. But you know, I definitely feel a connection to the motherland, and I plan on like going to other places. So Michaela, Justa, when y'all do that video, let me know. I just want to witness. I don't even have to be a part of it, but you know, I just love how like you all said, music connects you. It's like a natural thing. Like if it's on, I can't help but to move. Like it's just like I can't turn it off even if I try to. So I know that's like that's within and part of me and part of my culture. Language, like I'm learning Swahili. Like I learned maybe like a few words in Swahili. I definitely plan on practicing. But that's something like I've always like yearned for, like having something else that I can speak aside from English. You know what I mean? Like especially with me wanting to travel like globally. So yeah.
Thank you. Oh my God, there goes another person. Lena, you joining us?
Okay.
Let's have Annette. No, wait, let me see. Okay, come on.
My name is Jeanette. I'm in New Jersey, and I saw your topic, and I was just like interested. I'm so inspired by the video I just saw. I mean, it just like spoke to me. I'm retired, and I've been to Africa 3 times, and the last place I've been was Kenya. And when you started talking about dancing, what's so funny is that I'm 70 years old. Now, when we were in Kenya, we were invited up to the stage. My girlfriends and I were invited up to the stage. And so we became part of the dance troupe, sort of. And so they said they wanted to hire us. And I always say I go to Kenya to be healed because I can't move that well, but in Kenya I moved. So I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I got all this energy. And
Yes.
and I really felt connected. But just like what Lena said, I don't truly know my roots. But when I go to Africa, I feel connected. And the last place I remember, I guess, is South Carolina, where my grandparents are from. And so I'm in the inner city, and I have a little garden in the backyard. And every time I go out there to plant things, I feel connected with my grandparents in that way. So every day when I'm out there watering or weeding anything, I'm talking to my grandmother.
Wow, Judah, I could see like you smiling like this, like almost like it's the presence, like everything, like your ancestors and everybody's coming present, and that's the thing that I always crave. Like when I speak of my culture, like our grandparents come, like I remember my grandmother, I remember being in my village, I remember being like in the city. Like there's so much that in things that could be able to make you happy when you go back into history. I see my sister is on. I don't know if she want to say something. Bea, do you want to say something? I'm not sure. Bea, I'm gonna unmute you. Okay.
Okay.
Bea, we could hear you. Bea? No, we could hear just kind of like fidget.
Okay, my internet is up. Yes.
Okay, we could hear you now.
I'm Bea Beatrice, Jessica's sister. I just wanted to join in to just show support, and I'm really loving everyone's story they have to say. I'm also like I love to travel. I've traveled through like islands, Europe, and of course, like Africa is always home, and especially Tanzania, which I just came from there just like less than 2 weeks ago. I went for 2 weeks, and I could actually say and vouch myself, like it's super, super safe right now being there. Of course, like it was a little bit shocking when I was leaving the States, like they didn't emphasize the COVID or even testing. However, when you go, before I took Qatar, before we got to the Qatar airline, like they were very strict with keeping your mask on, face shield on, checking temperature. And of course, it makes it easy. Like if you're traveling right now, you get tested 72 hours before going to your destination, because then you don't have to go through like a lot of like questionnaire. You just show them that you've been tested. And it just makes everything so much easier. And then even coming back from Tanzania to New York, I got tested. No one asked me in New York. Before I left the country, of course, they make sure that either you're tested, temperature, but coming back to the state, like there was no kind of like COVID regulations, which was like a little bit disappointing, because this is the first world, and the third world are so much taking part on making sure that the places are safe, like everyone is safe and taking precautionary measures. So that's what I have to share about my travel experience just recently. So what I want to say is don't be afraid to travel. Like find out. What I did was I called immigration there, I called immigration here, just to see what the procedure and the process are. And of course, like I reached out to people that were there. So I feel like you just have to experience. The war does not end, you know, like you just have to like keep going. That's it. That's all I got.
Thank you, Bea. Talking about COVID, I actually have a message, like a video message that was done by an artist from Tanzania. I'm gonna share that with you guys and see like how, give me 1 second. It's actually a really cool video of how they were relating to keep safe amongst the people in Tanzania. Let me see if I could see it. And then we're gonna continue on with like everybody sharing.
Epuka msongamano, mita moja kwa mwenzako, usafi wa mikono, chafya ziba huo mdomo. Jukumu letu kupambana na shida kwa vigezo husika, ili janga kushinda tupambane. Jukumu letu kupambana na shida kwa vigezo husika, ili janga kushinda tupambane.
So I will share the link of that video, but that's just a video that I found by one of the artists. I actually know him. His name is Msaviri. And basically, this is one of the ways in Tanzania how they were able to share through music. And this is done also like when it comes to politics, when it comes to any message that needs to be sent out. Artists always come together and they're able to share that message through music, which is so amazing. Even like during COVID, as you saw, this message was being, people were listening to the music all over and they got the message through music. So like, I just wanted to share with you guys that so you kind of see the creative side of us and how we relate our various messages to each other. Cindy, you wanna come on next? Cindy is the author of children books, and she will share with us a book that she actually wrote about Tanzania, Tea for Tanzania, a book for kids. Cindy, if you wanna come on.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you, Justa, for this amazing event. It's so good to be here. Oh, thank you. I tried to like put in the mix, you know, the African print. I love. So yeah, like everyone else, I wanted to go to Tanzania this year, but I hope and pray that everyone is safe and sound and healthy. You know, and culture. What does culture mean to me? And it was only about 6-7 years ago I discovered my Haitian culture. My family's from Haiti. When I met my grandma about close to 6-7 years ago, she was 102 at the time. And I remember there was one moment, and during that, in that culture, we have the elders pray for their grandchildren, for their children. And she had asked to pray for me. And I remember holding her hand, her 102-year-old hand. And at that time, I felt like I was in the midst of like a miracle. You really get to see someone that old, right? I was in the midst of an elder, and she was also a woman of faith. And so I remember her holding her hand, and I knew, and at that point, I wasn't so much into my Haitian culture. And I didn't know how to speak the language. I was born here. I was very American. And it was at that point when I realized how important it is to share stories and pass down stories from one generation to the next. And I realized how no one had captured those stories. I, as an author at that time, didn't capture any of her stories. And for me, it was a journey to discover my Haitian heritage and culture. And in doing so, I discovered who I am and who I was, and became settled in myself as an individual. And I started the journey by cooking Haitian food. And there was so much history in Haitian food, like the pumpkin soup. We make pumpkin soup every year on January 1st to celebrate our independence. And from there, I started exploring other recipes. And in doing so, I realized there were so many other people who had the same experience, where they're of Haitian heritage, yet they don't, they feel like disconnection because they're born here in the US, or they're second generation, third generation Haitian. I'm second generation Haitian. And so I decided to write a cookbook, and a cookbook series called Cook Like a Haitian. Justa was a major part in that. We had a morning session where we would, for 1 month, we decided to wake up early in the morning to work on our dreams. And yeah, and so I'm very grateful for that. So I have a Cook Like a Haitian cookbook series. I was able to write a book collecting stories from those in the Haitian diaspora. I collected 100 stories from the Haitian diaspora on culture and cuisine. It's called Let's Speak About Haitian Food. And I wrote a children's book about Haiti. And for young people who are third generation, in my readings, I realize I'm coming across younger generations of people who don't have access to grandmothers like myself, but don't know anything about Haiti. So I decided to write a book called Haiti Is. And that was about 3 years ago. And just most recently, and I'll share this story, Justa. Justa's had an awesome, beautiful TV show. And I actually wanted to be on it. I know she's laughing now. And I have written a book about Cape Verde, about my trip to Cape Verde back in October. And I asked her that I wanted to be on her show, and because I had written a book about a country in Africa. And she said, well, is it about Tanzania? And I said, no, not really. It's about Cape Verde. And she was like, well, this is a Tanzanian cultural show. And she, challenged me to, like, if I were to write a book about Tanzania, I would be on the show. So I'm very ambitious as a writer. I've written more than 50 books, about 11 children's books. And I decided to write a book about Tanzania. And it's a children's book about Tanzania. And I did it in like 2-3 weeks from writing it to publication. And I surprised Justa with it. So I want to show it to you guys. And again, so important that we pass down our cultural heritage to our youth, to our children, because, our identity is so much tied into who we are. And so the book is called T is for Tanzania. Some of you may recognize it. It's the Serengeti Park. And Justa makes an appearance in the book as well. And I'll just show you, for those who are learning Swahili, there are like Swahili languages as well. And so I'll just show you who Justa is. So here's Justa the tourist. J stands for Justa. And she's wearing her safari outfit. Right? And so, yeah, and I surprised her on her birthday. That was, because she's such a good friend. We've known each other for about 6 years, I believe, since 2014. Yeah, 6 years. And we first met as speakers at the United Nations. And so this is the book, and it's my gift to Tanzanian culture, especially for the youth to understand who they are, where they came from. And I've realized the importance that it did for my culture, for the kids who are of Haitian descent. And I realized, let me do something for the Tanzanian kids. And how I did it and why I did it was because Justa's love for Tanzania is so contagious. Like, I decided I want to book a trip to Tanzania this year because I see her videos dancing and her food, cultural food, and her videos, the pictures about the country. And I'm just so grateful to be here and share our love for Tanzania. And thank you, Justa, for being the queen of Tanzanian tourism. And we need more people like you who are personable, who plant that seed of passion about a country. Yeah, so thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to hear other people's insight about culture. I think we all did, so yeah.
God, Cindy, thank you so much. And the queen is actually right there. My mom is the queen. I'm just the princess. Until I get my queen throne, or my sister will do it. But thank you so much, Cindy. Cindy, your book was very inspirational. I cannot wait. I can't wait to get it in the hands of my nieces. I have 2 nieces. They are 5 years old. So we are trying to also help them to learn more about our culture and what we love so much, Tanzania and also Africa in general. So that book is actually one of the tools that we'll be using. And I hope like other kids could also use it to learn more about about Tanzania, and also you could create more books. And you do have more books where people could learn more about culture and the written form, because like a lot of stories, especially when it comes to like people of color, a lot of our stories are verbally shared, and we it's not as much is written in a written form. And I believe like having authors like you are able to kind of like preserve the history in the written form, and kind of like share the creative ways of how you could share history. So thank you so much for being a part, and thank you so much for taking the challenge. And again, I'll give this challenge to everybody. When you talk to me, if it's not Tanzania or like connection to Tanzania, it's like, it's very hard to talk to me. So like, just make sure it has some connection to Tanzania, or whatever the case is, we will fall in love with each other. Yeah, but like, I'm so thankful for all of you guys. I think I went through like everyone. And maybe, let me see, I have another, I'm like full of videos. I have a video that I did. I met a young lady on the subway. She was actually playing music on the subway. When I approached her, I saw her post, and it had a name on it, and her name was Kokugonza. And her name being Kokugonza means, in our tribal language, because I noticed it right away, in our tribal language, it means the one that you love. So when I approached her, I was like, hey, your name is from our tribe. Are you Tanzanian? She was like, yeah, I am Tanzanian. I was like, wait, I started right away. I wanted to speak to her in Swahili. I thought she spoke Swahili and she knew the language. She just stopped me at mambo. Actually, she just said mambo, which is mambo is hello. She's like, all I know is mambo. And then she knew like 2 more words. Come to find out, her family, her father is from Tanzania. Her father is a musician from our village in Bukoba. My mom knew her father really well, and like this history just poured on just by her name. And I found her on I think it was an Atlantic station here in Brooklyn where she was playing, and just by her name we were able to identify who she was. And I think it was like 2 years ago she was able to travel to Tanzania to meet her, and we traveled together. We did the whole trip planning for them, and she was able to travel with that band to be able to meet her, the other side of the family. So I'm going to show you guys a video of when I think some of you guys probably saw this already, but like, it's good to kind of all of us watch it together. And this is, hold on, this is Kokugonza's journey in Bukoba, our village. And wait, let me see, where is it? Is it here? Give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna share this with you.
Songwriter and a guitarist, as she finds her. Hey curious travelers, welcome back to Curious on Tanzania, and this is Untold Stories. Today we'll be traveling with Kokugonza, a musician, songwriter, and a guitarist, as she finds her roots. So I met Kokugonza on the subway in Brooklyn, and just by her name, which means the one you love, I got to know that she was directly from our tribe, because that is one of our tribal names. I asked her, have you ever been in Tanzania? She was like, no. So I made it our mission to make sure that she makes it in Tanzania. And this is her journey. They're trying to figure out who you are. Yeah, don't tell them who you are. They're trying to figure out. Line now, let's tell them they're picking who it is. Just like that. That's weird. Coco news.
Nzuri, karibu sana. Welcome.
Asante, passport.
Uliandika ndio. Karibu. Sasa mbona mnafanana? Ulisembo hichi.
Alikuwa anaona miwani wako, sio anapenda miwani yako.
Yes.
Okay.
Karibu sana.
Auntie Hilda.
Auntie Hilda.
Which is what sunglasses?
Auntie Oliver.
Auntie Oliver.
How's your mom?
My mom is good.
I know.
Yes. Oh, you do? Of course. Yeah, she's good.
I have to have a picture.
Yes, let's do pictures before we go anywhere. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was just saying I hope there was a grandma thing.
How does it feel?
There's some moms around somewhere.
Oh, wait.
Oh my god.
How does it feel to be here?
It's like a dream.
It is over there, but it belongs to you. And there is another boy called Albert. So when you like to, if you like to put on a building, so we can divide in two. One portion for Albert, one portion for you and your sisters.
Oh wow. Oh wow. I was not expecting this. Wow! Oh my god, I'm trying not to
And you
cry.
see, after our mother died,
So I was like showing that particular video because I like when we were planning the whole trip, I did not know it was gonna be like this. We were like an emotional wreck from being so joyful and then also just like Kokugonza, and like she was like pouring into tears and then she had tears of joy, and then it was so much revealing of who she was, which made it so beautiful, but also bringing who she is also at the same time, and also noticing what made her, like when it comes to the music, her whole family was played some form of instrument. Like everywhere we went, from like our village all the way to the restaurant, it was like her family, everyone in her family played music. So she knew she was a musician from like the get-go. Which was so beautiful. Like you saw her aunts, her grandmothers all dancing. It was just an amazing experience to be able to have that opportunity to kind of like shadow Kokugonza, and for her to be able to go and learn. In the beginning, it's always like a beginning of like trying to understand your culture and helping her in terms of like having that leap of faith and actually going. Now Kokugonza, she is in Tanzania probably like once a year. And she meets up with our family, and we have became family also. And had the connection of who she is even deeper now. And whenever she reflects this video and all this experience, it's always kind of like, it's an amazing, and we have connected as sisters. So like, I just wanted to share that video to show you the impact of finding your personal identity through cultural heritage. But like, I need you want to come and share with us a little bit about the higher culture. Why is it important for you to like keep up, especially with with us, the kids, and also the grandkids, to maintain like our culture heritage? Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Ma, you have to unmute yourself. Okay, there we go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. First, I would like to go first to Daniel and Makeda. I'm so Italian. I wanna put out there. I make all these Italian dishes, lasagna, ziti. If I open my refrigerator now, I have all the cheeses, and I've been to Italy once, but my sister lives in Greece. It's a neighboring country. So next time I go to Greece, I'm gonna go to Italy again. And that's part of my, it's part of my culture now.
My grandmother still lives there. I need to take you. We'll do an exchange. I come to Tanzania and then you come, and we'll cook with my grandmother. We pick the olives, we'll pick the figs, we'll do all of it, everything. Right. We'll do it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do it.
It's a deal.
Anytime there's a party, what I bring is an Italian dish. I make it my own. It's not the same, but it's still Italian. And yeah, and I would like to go to Cindy with the Tea for Tanzania. I love the book. I haven't got it yet, but I love it already. And I was humbled by Kokugonza's video, because that's my village right there, among the banana trees and coffee trees. That's where we come from. When we go, we sit on the floor, and you eat from the floor, everything. And I was in tears. I was in tears with that video. It's like I was there, and someone was asking for me, and someone didn't tell me. I saw someone asking for me, my greetings. I didn't get them. Maybe, yeah, I didn't get my greetings. Yeah, I did not get my greetings. I don't know. Yeah, but about culture, it's not just Tanzanian culture. It's any other culture which brings you to your real self. If you, whether it's Tanzanian culture, Asian culture, Spanish culture. I mean, I'm into all that sangria stuff. I mean, you need to, you need to go into yourself and discover who you are, but at the same time, embrace other people's culture. Take the good from, like there's so much good from America I want to bring to Tanzania. Like when I go to Tanzania, I go to the bank and I'm holding the doors for someone. They come, they just go in, they don't say thank you. I'm like, excuse me, I'm trying to bring something nice here. So I want to bring the nice from Tanzania here and take the nice over there, just everything nice, mix it together. And that's my culture. You want me to talk about why I want you guys to stay grounded, like teaching the little ones Swahili, and why we go back. I encourage everyone to go back. Yeah, because going back, and like you saw in Gonza's video, it kinds of grounds. According to me, it grounds people. Like when you go and see compare what you have here and what they have over there, and at the same time they are happy, all these happy people, and you think they have nothing, but they have each other and they are happy. Then you come over here, you work so hard, and sometimes you are lonely. Reach out to your people back there, reach out to the people who are here. I think that's culture to me.
So like one thing that I know mom, like going to Bukoba sometimes, like that's our village. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult. So like our father recently died in March. But he left us a beautiful property, which you guys saw in the video. And my mom is, we are all actually, my mom and the kids and all of us, we're all looking into like building a property there that will allow others who are also interested to know more about like our Tanzanian culture, our village, to also come and like experience it. Ma, do you want to talk a little bit about that project?
Do you have pictures? Maybe you could show pictures of where we are now, but video. It's gonna be like you have it?
The video showed it at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh no, for now. I mean, you showed it when, like now we have done a little bit. Maybe you wanna show that?
Oh, I don't have
where we are now.
I don't have the
Oh, you have pictures?
I will show pictures probably. Yeah, you could talk about it though.
You could talk about it, but for me, it's a home. It's gonna be a home where all are invited. Like where we go to get in touch with ourselves, we are inviting everyone. We're gonna make it nice and modern, so you are not deprived of your, and at the same time, the view is amazing, but you get up in the morning, you can walk into the village and interact with people. At night, you come back and watch the sunset over Lake Victoria. And I want everyone to be able to come over. That's why we are working hard. It's not easy, but we will do it with everybody's prayers. If you have, okay. You said you don't have, maybe I can find pictures for you.
Okay, no problem. I put my mom on the spot.
Okay, you did.
Sorry for putting you on the spot. But this is what kids do. We always dig into our parents and we always asking questions. And it is important for to be able to see questions, to be able to ask like our parents for all this history and heritage and why is it important to them. So we get to understand and also tell the future generations or even tell our friends or why it's important to us because of our parents' heritage or like our grandparents' heritage also. But like what we are doing, I'll share with you guys like our next project for probably like actually I have it, starting like 2021, we will be planning a heritage trip, just like similar to what Kokugonza has experienced. We'll be traveling from from Uganda. In Uganda, we'll get to learn more about the cultures in Uganda. And then from Uganda, we'll connect to like our village in Bukoba. And the reason why we are doing that is because of the cultures. You'll get to know deeper in what culture and heritage is when you come from like one country to the next to the next. So that's how the people immigrated to be even come to Tanzania. So you get to learn more about the culture that way. We'll be going into Dar es Salaam. Dar es Salaam is like a melting pot, almost like New York City, a melting pot of various cultures where you'll learn about all those cultures. We'll be traveling to Zanzibar. And Zanzibar is an island full of its own cultures. And it's like so much diverse cultures within Tanzania that we want to tap into. We want to learn the history of it. We want to dance. We want to eat. We want to experience. It's all about immersive experience. So like from this whole journey, I want to be able, we want to be able to at least like once a year, whoever is interested in like traveling and learning more about cultural heritage, to be able to come with us into Tanzania and learn about these various cultures. Even for me, it's going to help me to even learn more about the various cultures within like one country or even within Uganda also. I went to school in Uganda, so that's how I'm incorporating Uganda also. But like that is one of the goals that we are doing, and this is the reason why, or a part of the reason why I also wanted to have this conversation on like cultural heritage and see what people are thinking, and also kind of like and present something that's actually tangible where people could be able to come and visit and experience it. And if you want to make it part of your culture, or if you want to adapt anything, it's one of those transformative, as they say, transformative trip or an experience where you get to learn more about a lot of cultures, but also about yourself. I also, if you guys have any comments, you're open right now. I'm very thankful for all of you guys joining us today and having this conversation. I hope you guys got something from it. If you didn't, you like smiled and it made your heart kind of like bubble, or like questioned you to wanting to find out more about your personal cultural heritage, or even cultures from like other places. Yeah, so like I'm so thankful. It was just something that I had on my mind, and I was like, hey, let's have this conversation. So like, so thankful for all of you guys staying this long and being able to participate. So I'll leave the floor open if you guys have anything to say. Yeah, Michaela?
Can I say something really quickly? First of all, thank you. This was just so wonderful. Oh my gosh, I love everything you do, Justa. I love it. You just make me smile. So for those of you who don't know, and Justa, I think you know, the last season that I did, both my parents are Italian, but I decided to get my DNA tested before DNA travel became a thing, and every destination from the new season is based on my DNA map, which was life-changing. But the only reason why I'm bringing it up is because Justa, I don't know if I'm sure you're familiar with AfricanAncestry.com, but before COVID hit, they were about to launch all of these going home tours. So once you found out your ancestral heritage through the tribes, because they can trace you back to which tribe you belong to, they were doing these tours, cultural exchange tours, and like immersive heritage tours, ancestral heritage tours for, people who don't know where they come from or don't know that much of their history. And it's been life-changing for so many people. I think you should reach out to them and be like, look, I can be your person for Tanzania, because I know they do a lot of Guinea-Bissau and I think Cameroon. They do a lot of, or they were doing a lot of trips. But I think you should, I can connect you with Gina. She's the woman who started she's one of the founders of it. But yeah, it's like exactly what you're talking about. This is their goal, is not just to reveal and help people find their cultural identity or ancestral identity, but bring them back to Africa to have these experiences like you showed us in that video. It was just so overwhelming. So I think you should totally do that. That's all I'm saying. Put it out there. We're going to make it happen.
Michaela, you always have some gems. Thank you. you.
This is so beautiful. That video, I was crying, just like, it's just overwhelming, you know, and they had the same face, like their same mouth. I mean, they're obviously related. And when you see someone that looks like you, and that happened to me on this journey when I was in Morocco, and everybody looked like my father and my father's side of the family. And in that episode, I'm crying like crazy because I just see like my uncle and my grandfather and my father. And then in Uzbekistan, I see this woman who looked just like my mother and my mother's side of the family. And those are two very different, far away parts from Italy. You know, like I mean, Morocco's closer, but Uzbekistan, it was just, and it's overwhelming. I wasn't finding people who I was related to, but just to feel that connection with the place is incredible. So I think you have such a passion for Tanzania. This is why all of us are here today. And if you can work with an organization and a brand that is really changing people's lives and impacting people's lives, you're the person to do it. That's all I have to say. And thank you. Asante Sana. Thank you for today. This is just beautiful.
Karibu sana. Thank you. I just love discovering and just telling stories. I think I'm a storyteller by now. And it's just amazing that we could all be able to connect on different topics and just have a conversation and get to know each other better. If anybody has any comments, please do share. If you have any questions, do ask away. We are all available. Daniel?
Yes, sorry. A little trouble getting to the unmute button. Yeah, I had a couple of comments. They're kind of unrelated, but one of them was at some point during today's presentation, either you, Justa, or somebody else mentioned a concern of potentially losing the language of Swahili or the African continent losing its various languages because of English being so popular throughout the world. And it's something that I think I had heard, that there seems to be a movement of trying to make Swahili actually almost an official language throughout the whole continent. I know that there are schools in other African countries now that don't have Swahili as an official language, but are now teaching Swahili as a secondary language. I know this is happening in South Africa, that some universities are teaching Swahili. So I think that although there's certainly a risk of losing some indigenous languages for smaller tribes and such, I don't think Swahili is in any danger at all. And in any case, that also, I've found that it looks like a lot of people are working on learning Swahili, because I've joined a number of WhatsApp groups and other resources to, in my goals to try to learn Swahili. So that was just a thought I had at some point during today's presentation. Another unrelated thought, which I wanted to just bring up, was that your mom, Vicky, mentioned she does Italian cooking, and it made me remember something, that when I visited Tanzania and Kenya, I loved ugali. And I've also been to South Africa, and it's the same thing as pap, which they have down there. And then I found out that in Nigeria and certain other countries, they have fufu, which is also the same thing. So I came home and I made it my mission to try to learn how to cook ugali. And then it occurred to me, wait a second, this is polenta. We have this already, and it's just a little different spices, but it's the same dish. So I see that there is certain overlap in cooking, in cuisine, at least between Italian and some of the African countries. The third and final comment that I wanted to make goes back to the very beginning, when we were all introducing ourselves, and I was very moved by hearing Michaela's and then Lena's and Jeanette's comments about dancing. And what moved me particularly was, I just started reading this book maybe 2 weeks ago, and the book is called Gypsy Energy Secrets. And the interesting thing about this book, and I'm maybe only into I'm on page like 35 or so, but this author mentions that amongst many other gypsy energy secrets, dance is a very important part of gypsy culture. And specifically, Michaela, you mentioned your own website is about barefoot dancing. This author talks a lot about going outside and dancing barefoot in the grass. And to me, it was just very powerfully moving to hear those kind of comments from a completely unrelated source today, because it's so closely related to what I just read over the last couple of days. So I will certainly visit your website, Michaela, and see what what you've got going on there. But to me, things like that are not coincidences. Here I come to a presentation about Tanzania, and then something that's compatible with a completely unrelated facet of my life is presented to me. I just can't ignore those sorts of omens. So I want to look into that a little bit more. But regarding the presentation, Justa, thank you so much. The videos were, as Michaela said, very heartwarming to see the homecoming of the person that you met in New York there. And really very nice. The two places that I visited in Tanzania were very similar to what I saw there of the video. I didn't visit, just so you know, I don't like to stay in hotels or visit a place as a tourist. I met people and I stayed in their homes, and this is that's the way I prefer to travel. And it was very nice to see those videos again, and I'm very eager to return to Tanzania to stay in some place like that again. So the project that you and your mother are working on, or your mother, I'd like to see where that goes as well. I didn't quite understand what you were saying, if it's a resort of some sort that you're trying to construct, or if it's just a private home and you're opening it like an Airbnb or couch surfing type of thing to to visitors and guests. But whichever it is, I would certainly consider visiting.
Oh, definitely. So what it is basically, it's going to be like a villa. And it's kind of like it is a bed and breakfast, a villa, and exactly what you said. I'm feeling more at home. And like my mom said, with like kind of like the comfort of like the regular amenities, but like you could be able to visit like our village, get really fresh food, but yet overlooking the view of Lake Victoria, which Lake Victoria is the second largest freshwater lake. And the fish that comes from there is like unbelievable, therapeutic. So if you're thinking of like a retreat, like getting away from like everything and just being more remote, that's definitely a place that we want to create. And we, one of the reasons is like we want to find ourselves going back more to our village. So once we create that, will allow us to even go more at home, but also bring those who are interested in learning more about our culture to come with us. And that will also help us in terms of preserving our culture. So we are trying every single way to figure out a way to preserve our culture, and us finding ways of how to go back home more often. And this is one of the ways. And of course, our dad initiated it by giving us the land, and we want to continue remembering him and also honoring him at the same time. So that's the main reason, and that's like our heart for this particular project. We will continue sharing with you about the project. We are actually going to Tanzania with my mom in September, so we'll get more logistics on it. We do need a lot of help. So like we will let you know what kind of help, and we'll let you know what people could be able to get in return for like their contributions. So we are looking like you could be able to stay there, kind of like a timeshare type of thing. So we could be able to build it faster. So more people come together, the village will be able to accomplish the goal of building that place, and also helping others to come and experience what Tanzanian culture, what we are all about. So that's the project we are working on, and we are super excited, and I'm honored to be able to share this information with all of you guys. for the first time. I haven't shared this with anybody. We haven't shared this with anybody, but I feel more comfortable sharing this with you. And you guys can hold us accountable, and we'll share pictures. I will do my best because I have all your emails. So like I'll share pictures when they become available and how the project will look like in the future. I also want to share with you guys a link. We do have, this is like an annual trip that we have on a yearly basis starting in, this is going to be in August, like every August, we'll have like a cultural retreat. And that's like how I was sharing with you guys. And that will be a yearly trip where we just discover culture, food, everything about cultural heritage. It will be happening every August. But this was a great conversation. I want to thank you guys so much. Please continue to follow us on Curious on Tanzania, and I hope you guys stay curious. I hope you guys stay well. And this was an amazing session. Thank you so much for this. I don't know if anybody else has any comments, any questions. You're more than open to say. Cindy, you have a question? Yeah, Cindy.
Hi, Justa. I just want to say this was such a great time and space to talk about your culture. And I want to go upon something, share with the group what you shared with me in terms of how important culture is to you. If your mom hadn't taken you back to Tanzania, we wouldn't be in this space, you know. So I want to hone in that it's so important to empower our youth in this day and age that we're living in. They are being denigrated about who they are as people of African ancestry. And so with you, Justa, you know, the work that you're doing and bringing adults and bringing family into the country to understand Tanzania, the culture, the cuisine, is your way of being part of the movement. And that movement is to value Black lives. And I do want to say, and, you know, Ms. Vicky and Bia, Sister Bia, this book was actually dedicated to Justa and also dedicated to her father, and I wrote in loving memory of John Lugwangana. And how he created a legacy by leaving you guys land. Land is so important, especially in Haiti. My grandmother left land for us. Unfortunately, I cannot go back there in the country because of the social political state it's currently in. But it's so important to leave behind a legacy. And the way that you guys are doing that is through ownership of the land. And also we do it through cultural tours, through books, do whatever we can to preserve our culture and so that we can empower the next generation. And as we move forward, think about legacy. Legacy is so important because we pass the baton to the next generation to keep our cultural heritage in alignment. So I just want to say thank you so much for this platform and this space about talking about your culture. As you inspire me to write this book, I'm certain that you inspire others to go to Tanzania and get that healing that they need. As Jeanette mentioned, like she wasn't able to move, but when she traveled to another country, she was able to move. When we go to your country, there's, especially for people of African diaspora, they will receive a healing in their hearts, in their souls, and in their minds. And I just want to say thank you for being the mechanism, the vehicle for bringing people who are hurting on this land to be rejuvenated. So when they come back years from now, they're like, I remember that trip to Tanzania. So I get that a lot about people who go to Haiti to provide missionary work. Every time I say I'm from Haiti, they're like, oh, I remember that time I went to Haiti to help the children. And I'm like, wow, how long ago was that? Oh, they're like, oh, it's 40 years ago. And so, you know, you want to, what you're doing, this project that you're doing, the villas, making it a source of comfort and rejuvenation and restoration. It's such a great idea, and I can't wait to help support your idea. And so, yeah, so I want to leave with definitely fight for your cultural heritage and pass it down to the next generation, whoever that is in your life. So have a good day, guys. Thank you.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, we just had one more person joining in, but we're about to close out the session. Let me see if she's on. I saw somebody just joining in. If you want to speak, yes, there she goes.
Hi, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for joining so late, but I wasn't sure about what time the meeting would be, and I didn't have the link. I did ask a few times by email, but I didn't get a response. But yeah, so I'm just I'm sure you're going to finish soon, aren't you?
Yes, but I could be able. You could introduce yourself.
My name's Patsy. I'm from the UK.
Okay. You're from the UK. What is your cultural heritage? If you want to come on video, you can also come on video because we are on video.
Yeah, I could do, I suppose. My parents are Jamaican.
Yes.
So I suppose I'm Jamaican, but I'm actually going to Tanzania next month for 6 months.
Okay.
So I was really keen to come on this meeting. But I'm out at the minute. I'm at a friend's house. A friend invited me around for dinner, so I'm just in the bathroom now, just conversing. Yeah.
I'm able to reach out to you and talk one-on-one. Is that okay? Then I'll also send you the video because I'm recording everything. I could send you the video.
Oh yes, please, if you would. Yes, please. That'd be lovely.
Okay, no problem.
What about yourself? What are you the host?
Yes, I'm the host. My name is Justa. I am the founder of Curious on Tanzania, which is an experiential travel company where we help you in terms of like getting like your logistics together, like your dream trip.
So it keeps freezing. It keeps freezing. I didn't hear all of that. It kept freezing.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have an experiential travel company where we help you in terms of like putting your logistics together to traveling to Tanzania. So we are like your to-go-to person when it comes to Tanzania. And then we also host different events to just like talk about what, like today we talked about cultural heritage, we talk about travel, we talk about like, for us it's like everything Tanzanian, but also we bring on friends of Tanzania, like just like how everybody here is, they have some connection to Tanzania in some form of way. So that's what we do.
All right, wonderful. Okay.
So what I would do is I have your email. I could be able to connect with you directly. And then we could be able to chat from there.
Yes, that'd be brilliant. Thank you. Because you finish at 6, don't you? Do you?
No. We're finishing now. It was only
finishing now. Okay.
Over a little bit.
All right. Okay then. Well, you was waiting for me.
Yes. Yes. We completely were waiting for you.
Yeah.
I am gonna close this off, and I know Michaela is gonna love to dance. She's like, yes. I'm gonna play a song for you guys. And then if you feel like you wanna dance, you could go ahead and dance. Please do. This is Saida Karoli, but it's a new modern song. So like, I want you guys to listen to this. Give me a second. So I would, I could have shared that video with you guys. Let me see if I can get the clip. So you guys continue listening at, let's see. Okay, there goes the video. I'll share with you guys the video clip so you guys could continue listening to it at your leisure. But like, I want to thank you guys so much for joining in. This was a session on cultural heritage. And I thank you so much for everybody for sharing your stories. My name is Justa. I'm the founder of Curious on Tanzania. And Ma, thank you so much for joining in. But thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time. I hope if you need to contact me, to email me about anything, please reach out. I will be more than happy to talk to you guys anything about Tanzania or how to travel. We are a travel company and we help you in terms of like putting together your logistics to travel to Tanzania. So that's who we are, but thank you so much. Feel free to exit. Yes, thank you so much. And I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.